Radiant Noir asks, since the game seems to be taking ideas from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, is there anything else from those titles you'd like to see in this version of Hyrule? I was thinking about that, and I'm like, it seems like they're taking a lot of things, so I was having a hard time thinking, like, what would I want to see? And the first thing I could think of was, I imagine, like, I would like to see some sort of thing similar to, like, a house, instead of, like, maybe putting it together, but something where you can, like, decorate it and stuff like that.
Your own home base.
Yeah.
That's always fun. That's always really cool.
But how about you guys? Any elements you feel like we've got the like crafting, it looks like, with the smoothies. We've got the different costumes, the echoes and stuff all feel very similar bind. I
know it might not be popular opinion, but I am a fan of collectathons. With, like DK64, Banjo-Kazooie being some of my favorite video games of all time. And although it's not original to Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, a Maiamai-like collectible would be very fun.
Yes.
Maybe also in the vein
seeds
of Koroks.
Gotta bring that back.
I would love to have, like, an overworld collectible that, you collect a bunch of to upgrade something. I think for an open air style game like this that Nintendo is really pushing for, that's, like, kind of a necessity, because it really forces exploration, and it not forces it, like, encourages and rewards exploration. So that's something I really hope that they keep. Obviously not Korok seeds. If Koroks surprise us in this game and just pop up out of nowhere, even though we have Deku Scrubs, I'm gonna be so happy. I don't think that's gonna happen, but it would be cool. But some collectible like a Korok seed, I would love so much.
Yeah.
I think this hasn't really been confirmed necessarily yet. There have been people that have speculated what the rifts are going to be, or what, based on what we've seen, that look like it's in a rift kind of world. But I would like some sort of shrine-esque thing in the game where it's like, because I always like those, even in like A Link Between Worlds, where you enter a building, and literally all it is, it's just like a little micro puzzle, like room, where the sole purpose is, like, you get a little reward, you do a really cool puzzle, and that's it. And I think the rift could potentially be that, like, where you go in and it's just like a sequestered area where you can't go too far, but it's like you have to solve something in this area. The rifts could even be something else. I would be totally fine with that too. But I do kind of like seeing those little, like, pocket dungeons almost. Not even to the full size of a mini dungeon, but like a pocket dungeon type thing. Or, now that I just said mini dungeon, I want something akin to, like, Zora Waterworks type thing.
Oh, yeah.
I do really like those, like, basically mini dungeons leading up to bigger dungeons. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I like that. With the Link Between Worlds, like, those little one-off challenges are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how they're, well, I have a follow-up to that, but I will let you have something. I don't want to derail the conversation too much from this topic, but did you?
Yeah,
I've been
trying to think of something, because you said, like, my first thought was have a house to decorate, because it just makes sense with the echoes. But maybe also, maybe if you got a house, maybe outside your house, you could have a little farm, maybe, or some garden, and you could, I've seen some of the flora in this game. It looks really nice. I'm like, oh, what if you could just plant a few flowers? This kind of along with decorating, but maybe also the exterior.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, a lot of the crafting items for the smoothies seem to be plants, like straight up vegetables and fruits and stuff like that. So I would be entirely surprised if this is our Zelda farming sim that we've been asking for years.
Fields of Hateno 2.
This is it. We knew it was coming.
Fields of Hateno 2, flora and fauna.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
this game.
Giancarlo Thomas Sinoni, pardon that, says if there are dungeons in the game, how many dungeons will it be and how will they be structured? What style dungeon, that type of thing. And that's what I was thinking about in regards to what Corey was saying. Like, it would be cool to have these one-off type things. I would just wonder, like, what's the ratio to that between like dungeons and what are the dungeons? You know what I mean? Like, what's it going to be like? That I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around. I think we'll probably have like a new style of dungeon, but what do you guys think?
I'd like for us to get
That's
a good
question.
number of dungeons similar to most 2D games. You know, a lot of the 2D games are just like dungeon, which I love.
Yeah.
But if they're going off of the vibe of the like open air style with Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, it's like, are we gonna have 4 dungeons? That seems wrong for a 2D game, you know? So
I'm sure at least the Zora, Deku,
Gerudo,
Goron will have dungeons.
Like, at least those 4, and then I'm assuming there's gonna be like other areas that are similar in between. Because I mean, like what? Like Link's Awakening has 7? Is that right?
8.
Is it 8?
Turtle Rock is 8.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like if we could get double what we've been getting in the past few games, I would be pretty stoked. But then that makes me think the puzzle design is going to have to be really unique with the echoes and these new abilities. So I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think dungeon wise?
I mean, I think, I'm sure we've seen dungeons in these trailers already.
Yeah.
This is a very different top-down game from what we've seen from them, so it's hard to predict. But I would guess somewhere between like 6 to 8, maybe plus like a final dungeon or like a mini dungeon.
Yeah, I'm like, there's a couple ways I could see it going. Like, I could see it being like they do just do it Breath of the Wild style, and it's like there's the 4 places and there's just 4 dungeons, and either like maybe the rifts are the dungeons or the rifts are like shrines or something like that, or I could see it just going somewhere totally different, like I alluded to before, where it's like, yeah, there's 4 dungeons there, but then you find out the rift is like a dark world or a rift world or something, and that has its own set of dungeons or something, and also what's up on the snow mountain, and I don't know. So I do feel like I can't definitively predict what's gonna happen, because it has so much of that DNA, it looks like, from the last big 3D games, but also a lot of, just looks a lot like Link's Awakening, Link Between Worlds. So I don't know what to say.
I personally feel like we're gonna get, I think each group of people is gonna have their own kind of assigned dungeon, and they're gonna have their own kind of assigned, I think it is actually gonna function a lot like Tears of the Kingdom, where it's like you go to a certain area where a certain type of people live and there's a specific problem going on, leads to a dungeon. So based on that, we've got, get out of here, cat. We've got Gerudo, we've got the Gorons, we've got the Deku, we've got the Zora, and then I feel like they're hiding something up on that snowy mountain because we haven't really seen anything up there. So I'm just going to assume there's another one up there. That would be sick. Oh, that would be so cool.
Please.
They would fit so well in this art style, too.
Oh, it would be so cute.
It would.
Anyways, that's 5. And then I think we're plus or minus, no, maybe +1. There could be another one somewhere else in the world. And
tutorial
then like a final dungeon.
Typically.
Could be a tutorial dungeon. So I'm kind of around the same range as McKenna. I would say like 6 to 8. makes sense. And I think it's gonna kind of be because I think it's gonna function a lot like Tears of the Kingdom because it seems like once you have the proper echoes and abilities, you can get to like pretty much anywhere in their overworld whenever you want. So I think it's going to be like once you get to an area, you have to solve their problem, you do their dungeon. And I think because the world is like, it seems like it's going to be bigger than a Link's Awakening thing, not as big as a Tears of the Kingdom size thing. So I think also the dungeons are going to be almost like a hybrid, where it'll be like Link's Awakening style, but blown up a little more and a little bit more complex.
Yeah.
That's what I would hope.
Yeah, I'm not totally like opposed to, some of the ideas that they had in the newer dungeons, and in fact some of them you can find older dungeons that fit that kind of mold, and some of them are really good. And I'm thinking maybe they have a chance here, especially with the echoes, to like come up with some unique, clever designs here that aren't just some of the worst ones in the last Breath of the Wild and Tears were just sort of like solve these separate puzzles, but there were some good ones that had some good interaction and interplay with and exploration, and I think there's still something there. So like I could see them do like translating something like that into 2D and creating something like similar to say Eagle's Tower, where it's like kind of open and you have to solve these separate things, but the navigation itself is kind of complex. So I'm open.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm open
I think
to it.
for your sake, I want there to be cool dungeons like Eagle's Tower, but for my sake, I really hope there's not a dungeon like Eagle's Tower, just because then I might rage quit. I'm so bad at Eagle's Tower.
Oh, no.
That dungeon's so good.
I love it, but I'm so bad at it.
Yeah.
Completely lost my train of thought, but that would be sick. That would be sick. What you were saying would be really cool.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm open to whatever idea of dungeon. I'd like
I'll say this.
Cool. Oh, I remembered what I was gonna say.
Please say it so you don't forget.
It's sorry, it's not a big thing, but I do feel like we have seen a lot so far in the promotional material of Zelda in these like 2D side-scrolling areas, which is something that was in Link's Awakening and is pretty unique to Link's Awakening, and I feel like we've seen a good amount of that, which I think is really cool because it seems like to me, it seems like that's something they would incorporate a lot into dungeons.
Yeah,
to get to different sections.
It was
of the
mostly in dungeons in that game.
It's almost entirely, yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully that's a good sign. Yeah.
I was gonna say I can't imagine these dungeons are gonna have rooms as small as Link's Awakening dungeons do. A lot of those. Yeah, I mean, obviously some of the rooms are really big and connected, but the screens just move along. But these screens don't seem to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it seems to completely follow Zelda even in dungeons. So I'm assuming the really big dungeons will not be so separated, like they have been in previous 2D installments. Which kind of gives me the excitement of something like the potential of like a Great Bay or like a mostly Great Bay because I just love that temple. But something like that could be easier to get some storytelling in there. That's not just like going to a room, solve a puzzle, going to the next room, solve a puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, because I guess Link's to the Awakening is the closest comparison, just because it's based on that engine. But since then, they've moved away from that in the 2D game, so I think it would be pretty easy to. They even show, in Link's Awakening remake, they had rooms that were obviously separate screens in the original, but because it was meant to be one room, they were able to show you scrolling around it. So yeah, I'm sure now that they're not sticking to a remake of it, they'll go outside the box.
It is pretty fun how familiar this game already feels because it's an art style we've played in in a way, and you can tell it's like taking from so many other past Zelda games that I
Yeah.
feel like jumping into this game is gonna just feel so good. It's gonna be like, yep, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
It's a little-
naturally just feel like I'm already in it, which I love.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely different from the last two where it was like, whoa, like the first one, but Breath of the Wild, and especially like, whoa, what is this? And then
Yeah.
you encounter the familiar stuff, but this is my biggest like, whoa, what is this? Like I said before, is like the rifts, which is a lot like a lot of Zelda games where it's like, oh, I'm in Hyrule, and then what's this thing going on, you know? Or
Yeah.
it reminds me of like, I don't know, like Twilight Princess or something, where it's like you're hanging out and then
The Twilight Zone?
there's some, you're gonna go in and all the riffs are gonna be different episodes of the Twilight Zone.
Of the Twilight Zone. Every time you
Oh,
go
my
in,
glasses.
you get a little
You might-
narration.
Yeah. You go in and it's like a little serial TV show of all the same NPCs, you know, but in different weird situations, like in different time periods.
Oh my gosh. Little Clock Town vibe there, which I love. Cool. Let's do
Yeah.
it. I think that's canon now.
I'm thinking too, if there are dungeons, I think they could like, you know, I don't know if they'll have different items in the game, but I could see like you learning certain echoes in dungeons that like
Mhm.
I think
basically
that's what
act
it's
as,
gonna
like
be.
the dungeon item,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like special echoes or something like
Oh,
that.
That give you
One
different
thing that-
abilities. Yeah.
One thing that would be cool to bring from those other games is, you know, when you beat the dungeon, you get like an added ability. Like that's not like it's not like
Yeah.
a rune or an item, but you know, you get like Daruk's protection or something. It'd be cool if like at least
Yeah.
maybe with the initial dungeons, if they like there were some things like that that change the gameplay like a little bit, but like you know, like I don't know, Zelda can't jump, can she? Like maybe getting like a, you know, a jump button or something, a rock's
Yeah.
feather
I think she,
button.
I think she
something
can
like that.
jump.
Can she
Oh
jump?
yeah, she can, because she jumps
I
up
think
onto the
so.
beds and
I think
stuff.
she can do a little hop.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's
Oh,
an
well,
ability you get.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have
okay.
the right off the bat.
There is, yeah, there's
Pegasus boots?
actually
I
there
don't
is
know.
yeah, there's ways they could do it, but I agree.
This is incredibly random, but one other thing I just want to say really quick, and I know at this point I've entirely forgotten what the question even was because we've just kind of gone off talking about how excited we are. There is a scene that shows her on a pirate ship looking thing,
Oh yeah.
which I don't think we've really talked about, which gets me excited to see if we get new pirates or iterations of old
Pirates?
pirates, like my boy
Pirations?
Nico.
Oh,
I would love-
Sorry.
I would love if we get like the Oracle pirates back.
Yeah.
Those
Pirations.
Those guys rock. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Cool. Well, I think it'll be fun. Well, I'm gonna end every video being like,
That'll
Looks
be
cool.
fun.
It'll
Looking
be
forward to it.
fun.